The plane hadn't even taken off, and arrogance was already airborne. A black businessman settled quietly into his first-class seat until a smiling flight attendant leaned close and said, "Sir, please move. A VIP will be sitting here." Behind her, a wealthy passenger smirked, already certain of victory. Phones rose. Whispers spread. But the man didn't argue. He only stared at her badge and said softly, "You're making a career-defining mistake." Minutes later, as the engines roared, every screen froze with one name. The man they'd tried to humiliate wasn't the guest of the airline. He was the owner. The jet bridge smelled of new leather and polished ambition. David Cole adjusted his carry-on strap and stepped into the first-class cabin of Aurora Air Flight 918. The trip was supposed to be quiet, an inspection disguised as a vacation. He wanted to see how his airline treated people when no one knew who signed the paychecks. He had barely settled into his seat when a shadow fell across the aisle. "Excuse me, sir," a woman's voice said gently. David looked up. The flight attendant's smile was professional, but her tone carried authority. Her badge read, "Lena Parker, cabin lead." "Yes?" he replied. She folded her hands. "I'm afraid we'll need this seat. One of our VIP passengers has requested it." David blinked. "My ticket's confirmed." Lena's smile didn't move. "Of course, but he's a top-tier client. We can relocate you to premium economy. You'll still receive complimentary service." A murmur spread through the cabin. The man behind him, a silver-haired passenger with a gold watch, chuckled. "Don't make it difficult, friend. She's just doing her job." David's voice was calm. "And I'm just sitting in the seat I paid for." The chuckle turned into a smirk. "Paid? With what? Frequent flyer points?" Lena shifted, suddenly uncomfortable. "Sir, please cooperate." "I am cooperating," David said. "By staying seated." She pressed the intercom. "Captain, we have a non-compliant passenger in 2C. Gasps rippled. Phones rose. The so-called VIP leaned forward, smug. "You heard the lady. Move along before you cause a scene." David turned his head slowly. "A scene requires an audience. You've already got one." Moments later, the captain stepped out, irritation etched into his face. "What seems to be the issue?" Lena spoke first. "He's refusing to surrender his seat for Mr. Drake, our Platinum Elite guest." The captain frowned. "Sir, can we resolve this quietly?" David studied him. "By teaching her to ignore boarding protocols? Or by teaching you to enforce bias politely?" The captain stiffened. "I won't tolerate accusations." "Then tolerate accountability," David said evenly. "Scan my ticket again." Lena hesitated. The captain nodded sharply. The handheld scanner beeped green. "It's valid," she whispered. The VIP barked. "He probably hacked the system." David leaned back, unimpressed. "You'd be surprised what systems I own." The captain cleared his throat. "Sir, if you continue this tone, we'll have to call ground security." David pulled his phone from his jacket pocket, tapped once, and placed it face up on the tray table. The screen glowed, "Aurora UPS, Executive Override Standby." Lena stepped back. "What is that?" "Protocol," David replied. "Sir, you can't—" The intercom chimed. A voice from ground control came through. "Flight 918, we've received a direct override request from Aurora Holdings. Confirm identity of passenger David Cole." The captain's eyes widened. "This is Captain Haynes. Confirming. He's here." "Authorization match detected," the voice said. "All crew stand by for instruction." Lena looked at him, speechless. "You work for Aurora?" David's gaze didn't waver. "No, Aurora works for me." The VIP's face drained of color. You're the CEO?" David finally smiled. "Founder, actually." The cabin fell into absolute silence. The captain swallowed hard. "Mr. Cole, David raised a hand. "Not another word. You just taught your crew how to confuse arrogance with priority. Consider this your live evaluation." The intercom crackled again. "Executive Directive active. All crew operations now under command of Mr. Cole." Phones across the cabin recorded the moment. Passengers whispered. Lena's breathing quickened, tears pooling at the corner of her eyes. "Sir, I didn't know," she stammered. "That's the point," David replied quietly. "You never know who you're serving. So serve everyone with dignity. The VIP tried to speak. Listen, David turned toward him. You demanded my seat. You'll find plenty in economy. I paid for first class, the man snapped. So did I, David said. The difference is I built it. The captain's headset buzzed. Aurora Control here. Mr. Cole, your directive is clear to proceed or ground the flight at your discretion. Ground it, David said calmly. I'll address the passengers personally. Minutes later, the engines powered down. Murmurs grew. Cameras rolled. David stood at the front of the cabin, his presence quiet but commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, you witnessed how easily respect can be replaced by assumption. Today wasn't about a seat. It was about value, who decides it and who deserves it. My answer is simple. Everyone. A wave of applause built, strong and sincere. He turned to Lena. You have potential. But potential means nothing without principle. Retrain, don't resign. Lena nodded through tears. Thank you, sir. He looked at the captain. You'll report to my office. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Yes, Mr. Cole. Finally, he faced the pale VIP. You wanted a demonstration of status. Congratulations, you've had one. Now exit my plane. Security escorted the man off as passengers filmed every step. The clip would go viral within hours. David exhaled and addressed the remaining passengers. Apologies for the delay. Integrity sometimes takes longer than convenience. Applause thundered again. Someone shouted, That's real leadership! David smiled faintly. Leadership isn't control, it's correction. He returned to his seat as the plane prepared for a new crew to board. Outside, dawn light streaked the tarmac, turning silver into gold. Lena approached softly. Mr. Cole, may I ask why you came today? He looked out the window. To see whether my company still remembered who it serves. And what did you find? She asked. He smiled. A reminder. Power isn't what sits in first class. It's what stands up when others look away. As the aircraft taxied again, the entire cabin stayed silent, eyes on the man who'd just redefined dignity midair. Because sometimes the most powerful statement isn't a shout or a threat. It's a calm voice that makes the whole sky listen. If you believe true power doesn't boast, it corrects, then stand for dignity today. Like this video, share it everywhere, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from and which moment hit you hardest. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because silence builds arrogance, but courage builds justice that lasts.